In the news, Disney is busy planning its film and television schedule for their new streaming service, which includes some old favorites. The official launch date has not been released. Link for the Hollywood Reporter article in the description box below. So if you're a Disney fan like I am, this is pretty good news because it continues to instill in us faith that Disney is always making sure that whatever they do well. So it's nice to see Disney stepping up to the plate and saying, look, I know that the official launch isn't going to be until tentatively fall of next year, 2019, but we need to make sure that when we launch, all of our ducks are in a row. That way you guys, once you sign up for the streaming service, we're still waiting to find out what the price points are. So we'll have this streaming service that has content available immediately. So once it launches, we've already started paying for the monthly fee for whatever it's going to cost for Disney. We're able to log on and check out all of this new content that they're going to drop. Plus, we'll also be able to hopefully revisit some of their older films that we've grown up loving or have recently discovered, depending upon how many movies you watch and how long you've been following Disney. But according to the article, they've got some TV shows in the works, and we don't really dive into TV too much, but we do talk about streaming services and reviews for things that are available for streaming services in the DVD and VOD playlist. So I wanted to just list a couple things off from the article that Disney said they're going to be working on for the release. Trusty notepad. So in the article, they talk about TV shows being spun for The Muppets, Star Wars, High School Musical, Monsters, Inc., and The Mighty Ducks. So there's a lot already set up where they're going to revisit some older things that we really enjoyed or have enjoyed or continue to enjoy in the case of Star Wars and The Muppets. And they're going to give us fresh content in a serial form, right? Because television is serialized. We get 8 episodes, 12 episodes, 20 episodes, whatever the case may be, depending upon the show, the network, etc. But we can trust that once Disney gets this service up and running now, we're going to have content available to us that's not just a movie, that's not just going to be going back to watch some of our old favorites. Fresh new stuff that's available for us, which I think is pretty dope. In the article, they also talked about a couple movies that they're looking to reboot for the streaming service. So, notepad. So in the article, they talk about The Parent Trap, Father of the Bride, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So old favorites, right? Especially with The Parent Trap. The Parent Trap was made and then they had back in the 60s. And then they had like sequels to it. And then they redid it, I think, back in the 90s. And now here we go. We're going to get a brand new one specifically for this new Disney streaming service. And right now in America, I don't know what it is for the rest of the world, the divorce rate / separation rate is hovering between 42 to 50%. Why not make a movie about parents who get divorced and their children have to figure out a creative and clever way to get their parents back together? So I think this could work. I think it still fits in the popular zeitgeist and the popular framing of our society here in America. I still think it's topical. So why not try and get this rebooted for a streaming service specific to Disney? Father of the Bride, Steve Martin, Martin Short, great duo. These guys knocked it out of the park as far as comedy goes with these films. Love the Father of the Bride series so much. And I'm hoping that this new reboot, whatever it's going to be, is just as enjoyable as the originals. And finally, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. With the success that Marvel and Disney had with Ant-Man, and now they're getting ready to release Ant-Man and the Wasp, it's not really a big surprise for me that they wanted to go back and revisit Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because we've already seen what the technology is capable of doing in Ant-Man, as well as the trailer for Ant-Man and the Wasp. So if they can use that technology to bring this life, this world back together for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, why not try and do it straight for the streaming service? I think it could work. I think it could be a lot of fun, and it might look good too, right? It might not look like cheesy or hokey or anything like that. So I'm hopeful, fingers crossed, that all of the reboots that they do, or even new original content as far as films are concerned for their streaming service, really deliver on something special and maybe even elevate films that are available for streaming services to that next level. Because right now, I really think that that's where streaming services want to go, and maybe Disney will be the one to break through the barrier and really deliver solid content movie-wise on a streaming service. Sound off below in the comments section with your thoughts about the new Disney streaming service, as well as the TV shows and films that they're looking to do for the official launch. Universal has announced that Jurassic World is getting a 3rd film in the series and will hit theaters in June of 2021, with Emily Carmichael and Colin Trevorrow penning the script. Link for the Variety article in the show notes below. So there's a part of me that heard the story and was like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going to get 3 films out of this, not just 2. But then like there's this curiosity that danced around in my head asking questions like, well, does that mean that this next film that drops this summer like has a lot of questions unanswered and we just are going to leave the theater kind of confused going, wait, well, what was that? What was this? And they realized it and they went, you know what, we better make a 3rd movie. Or does it mostly wrap everything up and then they looked at it and went, you know what, we still can make a 3rd movie and we can really kind of lock down what we want to do and what we want to say for this franchise by putting one more film out there. So I'm hoping it's the latter, because I would like to sit through Jurassic World 2 and walk out of the theater going, wow, that was really fun, as opposed to walking out of the theater going, wow, I really have so many questions now because of this film. Not questions like, man, we can really dig into this and talk about it and discuss it, but questions like, why did they do this? What's going on with this character? Why did the story go that way? Now we have to wait for a 3rd film before we get these answers. Like, I'm hoping it's not that. So fingers crossed that we walk out of Jurassic World 2 just going, wow, that was great. I can't wait to see the 3rd one, as opposed to, man, I really need to see the 3rd one so I understand what happened in that film. So there's a part of me that believes that this news was actually just a clever marketing ploy, because maybe they don't want to release another trailer because it's still a couple months away and they don't want to show too much footage, which is perfectly understandable. And I'm actually way on board with that, because sometimes trailers show a little bit too much and then it kind of ruins the movie for us. But if they're trying to hold back, but they just need to keep the press going and keep that advertising and marketing machine moving, why not release news about a film that's going to be coming out in a couple years? Because now we're talking about it and we're also talking about the sequel that's going to be coming out in a couple months. So hopefully this was just a clever marketing ploy that's working. So the trailers, while I've enjoyed like the visuals of the trailers, they haven't really like sold me on the movie itself. I don't really understand what the film is going to be about entirely. I've just gathered that they're going back to the island to save dinosaurs for I don't know what reason. There's a volcano. I don't know why there's a volcano. And there's going to be a court hearing where they talk about the value of the life of the dinosaurs and how they were there before us. This is all information that we get from the trailers, but again, it doesn't really tell us much about the film, so I can't really say like it's going to knock it out of the park like I felt Jurassic World did, because I really enjoyed Jurassic World, and I still enjoy it when I watch it on replay, on DVD and Blu-ray. So I'm hoping that this film is able to deliver as much as Jurassic World did, but the trailers really haven't done it for me so far as convincing me that the story is just going to be just a grand slam story that just really takes us on this adventure with these dinosaurs. Because if the whole purpose of the film is like to bring dinosaurs back to civilization and then kind of like sell them off or give them to zoos or whatever the case may be, we've kind of already seen that in one of the films before, where, you know, the dinosaur comes through downtown and then like wreaks havoc on everything. Basically every Godzilla movie. So it's like, I don't know. Why do we need to rehash that same story again with Chris Pratt? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but hey, it could work. It could be a lot of fun. I could be completely wrong. I hope I am completely wrong, because I would like to continue this franchise with another great dinosaur film, just like the first Jurassic Park and just like Jurassic World. So fingers crossed that this announcement is a clever marketing ploy that's also going to instill some confidence in us that when we walk out of Jurassic World 2, we can be pumped and excited for this next film that's going to be released in 2021. So sound off below in the comments section with your thoughts about Jurassic World. Are you excited about Jurassic World 2? What do you think about them telling us that in 2021 we're getting a Jurassic World 3 when we haven't even seen the second one yet? Let us know down below. Mads Mikkelsen, Vanessa Hudgens, Catherine Winnick, and Matt Lucas are teaming up for Polar, which will be distributed by Netflix next year. Link for the Deadline article in the description box below. So this news kind of surprised me. And if you watched last week's episode, or you just watched the news segment from last week's episode, we talked about how Michael Fassbender is going to be in the Kung Fury movie that they're remaking based off of the short 30-minute film online. And we also talked about why I think that's a little strange, because of like the level of talent he has as an actor, coming back to do a goofball movie like that with the cast that they've already announced. And when Deadline dropped this article, I did have one of those moments pop up in my head, because again, Mads Mikkelsen, just like Michael Fassbender, very, very talented actor. And to see him coming in to do this, I was like, oh, this could be interesting, but who's directing this? So when I looked at who is directing this, it was Jason Aukerlund, who really doesn't have a feature film like under his belt, but on his IMDb, he has a lot of directing credits for like music videos and music related content. So I was like, okay, so he's not like brand new, but he is brand new in the sense that he doesn't really have like something of a feature film that like we can go back and reference to see how he's going to tell long form stories, right? So I was like, okay, this is going to Netflix, and I may be in the minority here, but if you tell me that Mads Mikkelsen is going to be in a movie with a few other very talented actors in either film or TV, but talented nonetheless, and it's going to go straight to Netflix with a director that this could be his first venture or his first foray into film and directing for feature films, are we just using Netflix as kind of like a safe zone? Because if that's the case, that's a bit of a bummer, because just like Michael Fassbender, who's so talented, Mads Mikkelsen, very talented. So to see him step into this role and to have my expectations set at like this could just be a film that's getting dumped on Netflix is kind of a bummer, because as we discussed just 2 stories ago with the Disney streaming service and how I hope that they're able to drop these feature films on their streaming service that kind of gets on top of the plateau to create something brand new to really like get streaming service movies like to that next level. Like when you hear Michael Fassbender or you hear Mads Mikkelsen's in a film, you hope that that film is going to be as good as they are talented as actors. So the story that it's based off of is pretty dope. It sounds like it could be a cool story because it's about an assassin who's retired and his company puts a hit out on him because they view him as a liability going forward for their long-term success. So they hire all these new young hitmen to go after him. And so he's got to kind of come out of retirement, but just to save himself, and maybe 1 or 2 other things will pop up through the story that kind of leads him on a journey of more than just trying to survive, but kind of like trying to survive plus revenge. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But the story sounds really cool. So hopefully when the film drops on Netflix, it is as good as the story sounds, and it is as good as the talent level in this film leads me to believe it could be. And even though this is Jason's first featured film that he's going to be directing and it's going straight to Netflix, hopefully that's not a negative. Hopefully that's just like, hey, we're giving this guy a shot, and you can't blame people for giving the guy a shot. If he hits it out of the park, that's a great shot that they gave him, and now he might start getting more films. And who knows, this could be the guy that like takes that feature film for Netflix and like that status and bumps it up a little bit, as opposed to like what we have been getting so far online. So fingers crossed it does deliver and we can get excited about it and everything is a smash and we can all like turn on whatever the next show is on our Netflix queue that we enjoy watching or have been waiting to watch, and we don't miss a beat there. Hopefully it's not a bummer. Sound off below in the comments with your thoughts. Honorable mentions: Netflix is suing its competitor Cinema for patent infringement. Danny Boyle and John Hodge are working on a script for Bond 25. Octavia Spencer and Isabel Moner join Mark Wahlberg for the new comedy Instant Family. Wonder tops the national home video sales chart for DVD and Blu-ray sales. Sam Rockwell will be voicing Ivan the Silverback Gorilla in the new Disney drama, The One and Only Ivan. And that wraps up the news for this week. Thank you guys so much for joining me this week as we talked about a couple news stories that dropped that I thought were of note and wanted to share with you here. Appreciate you guys also throwing your comments below with your reactions or thoughts to those stories. If at any time you did enjoy the news segment, go ahead and give me that thumbs up, because the thumbs up helps people who like movie-related shows find this movie-related show on YouTube. Hi everyone, this is Jeremy Brunansky, and you've just finished watching the movie news segment. Now, if you enjoyed that, you may want to check out the Certified Rad playlist, which covers something awesome and uplifting that we found, or you may want to go ahead and check out the Special Segments playlist, which covers just a range and variety of topics that I want to dig a little deeper in, but we don't necessarily have time for on the weekly show. We will see you guys next Monday for a brand new episode of Brunansky's Vlog right here on YouTube at 10 a.m. PST. Have a great week, everybody. Take care.